Moses and the Lamb. A free adaptation from Rumi's Masnavi. Welcome to our Persian Stories family. If you've been with us before, you already know Rumi, the great mystic poet of the 13th century, born in Balkh, buried in Konya, a man who turned love into language. If you've just joined us today, welcome. Take a moment to explore our earlier episodes about Rumi's world. You'll meet a poet who saw the universe inside a single heart. And now, let us begin today's tale. One of the gentlest tales in the Masnavi, short but deeply profound. At first glance, it seems simple, just a shepherd and a lamb. But listen closely, and you'll discover this story is really about us. So sit back, breathe, and listen. Part 1. The Chase. The desert was hot and merciless. The sun hammered upon the earth, and no shade offered any refuge. Moses had been traveling for days. He, who would one day speak with God, was not yet a prophet. In those days, he was a shepherd. His staff had not become a serpent. The sea had not parted for him. He was simply a humble man walking beside his quiet flock. A man like you, like me, unaware of the greatness ahead of him. Then something small changed everything. Suddenly a lamb broke from the flock. It bolted, terrified, trembling, alone. Moses turned and followed after it. The lamb ran not from stubbornness, but from pure and trembling fear. Its black eyes were full of terror, as if seeing 1,000 butchers. Each time Moses came near, the lamb doubled its desperate speed. From mountain to plain it ran, from plain to desert, to rocky ground. The sun fell, the night arrived. Yet still the lamb kept running, and still Moses kept following behind. Blisters formed on the prophet's feet, his sandals tore from constant running. Desert dust covered his weary face, but Moses did not stop pursuing. He would not abandon the frightened one. Something in him refused to give up on the small life fleeing before him. At last the lamb collapsed in exhaustion. There was no strength left to run. Its breath came short and ragged. Its small ribs rose and fell quickly. It closed its eyes, awaiting the blow, awaiting the knife across its throat, awaiting the end it had imagined. But Moses held no stick, no blade. There was no anger in his heart. He approached, breathless, and stood still. His eyes fell upon the wounded feet, upon the trembling, dust-covered little body, upon those eyes squeezed shut in fear. And then tears began to flow. With a voice trembling from sorrow, Moses whispered to the frightened creature, "Rise, you simple-hearted one. Tell me, am I chasing you to kill you, or am I running to save you?" The lamb slowly opened its eyes and felt a warm hand on its back, a hand that was a caress, not a blow, not a shepherd's grip, but the touch of a mother. Not a single trace of anger remained. Only tears and tenderness lived in him. He gathered the lamb into his arms, brushing the dust from its small body. Stroking its head, he whispered softly, as one might speak to a child, "If you have no mercy on me, why this cruelty toward yourself? Why these wounds, this exhaustion, this fear? What if wolves had found you tonight? Thank God I found you first." The lamb did not understand the words, but it no longer trembled in fear. the language of love, needs no translation. Moses lifted the lamb onto his shoulders. He walked, not toward the slaughterhouse, but toward the cool, clear water. Not toward sacrifice, but toward life. That same night, on the desert horizon, a voice came from the unseen world. God spoke to his closest angels. Behold this gentle, tender shepherd. A lamb fled from him in fear, and instead of harm, he offered tenderness. He carried it home upon his shoulders. This man is worthy of prophethood. Before being shepherd of a nation, he was shepherd of the small ones. His patience was tested upon a lamb before being tested upon humankind. And Moses, without yet knowing it, was weaving the threads of his calling. Years remained until Mount Sinai, until the burning bush, until the parted sea. But on that night, in that desert, in that single act of mercy, Moses truly became Moses. The prophet was born in a caress, long before he was born in fire. Part 2. A Tale for Today. On the surface, it seems simple. A shepherd, a runaway lamb, an embrace. But beneath the surface lies a question. And now, my friend, let me invite you to step into this ancient story. Become Moses for a moment. Or perhaps become the lamb. See which feels closer. What was the lamb truly running from? From Moses, or from its own imagination? In a world where every phone notification can feel like a threat to your peace, how often have you fled from someone, from a chance, from an open door that was actually your refuge all along? The lamb closed its eyes for the worst, but the worst never came that night. In your moments of breakdown and despair, are you so certain disaster is coming that you cannot see the miracle approaching? What if the hand reaching toward you is not a blow, but a blessing? Moses asked, "If you have no mercy on me, why be so cruel to yourself?" How often have you, like that lamb, run from fear of others' judgment, or from the harsh voice within yourself, until your own feet bled from running? Was the one chasing you holding a knife or open arms? In a world where leaders draw swords at the smallest hint of disagreement, Rumi tells us Moses was first a shepherd. What does this say about today's powerful? Those who sit on thrones of authority. If a person cannot be kind to a lamb, how can they be kind to humanity? The lamb reached safety on Moses' shoulders, but in our world that worships independence, do we let anyone carry our burden? Or do we fear being indebted so deeply that we run away from offered help? How much of our modern loneliness is chosen, not destined? How much is our own doing? If tomorrow the one you most fear, perhaps a relationship, perhaps God, perhaps life itself, placed a gentle hand upon your back and shed tears instead of striking you, what would you do in that moment? Would you run away once more? Or would you finally stay? Perhaps this tale was never only about a prophet and a small animal. Perhaps it was about you and me and all the days we keep running without ever turning back to see who is breathing hard behind us, not to catch us, but to save us. My friend, if this story moved you, if you saw yourself in the trembling lamb, or longed for a shepherd for your wounds, I would be honored to walk with you through more stories like this one. Stay with us. There is much ahead. Ancient wisdom for very modern hearts. If you haven't yet subscribed to Persian Stories, please tap that subscribe button now so you don't miss what's coming next. And if today's story touched something in you, share it with a friend who is tired of running with no destination. Your share might become their bridge home. Maybe this old tale, this gentle voice, is the bridge between someone's deep fear and the embrace that has been waiting. Until our next episode together, dear friend, may you rest in the shelter of that hand, the hand that never strikes, the hand that only saves. Goodbye until we meet again.